accountability. But when it comes to dictating their own actions on a global horizon, they may constitute, if people have to be honest to themselves, a most exploitative tribe. We are before the man, Chief Justice of India, who will take the institution to greater heights. And 1.4 billion people look up to him, including those who are in Parliament. Sir, Monday and Friday, the spectacle is bewildering. And that is something we need to think about. During my brief tenure as Vice President of the country, I have been abroad twice. And you cannot imagine the kind of respect India has. We are, as a nation, on the rise as never before. And our rise is unstoppable. No one in the world discounts it, except some of us. To give real meaning to the sublimity of our elected verdict, we all will have to rise to a level where partisanship should not be there when the interest of the nation is at heart. I'll give you a few illustrations which I had the occasion to share with the world leaders. Can you find any other country in the world which has handled COVID the way we have done? 1.4 billion people. Dose 1, dose 2, and booster. It will take beyond 2.5 billion. And all recorded digitally and made available. A situation that doesn't obtain in the West. We have done it. Reflect back. Could there have been more man-made problems? Could there have been greater difficulty than that was generated? The kind of ecosystem that was sought to be evolved. We don't look back. We need to analyze. When it comes to tackling a pandemic, national interest must always prevail. As Governor of the State of West Bengal, I know when pandemic was there was a real issue to make available food to the needy. 800 million in this country. 800 million. Many countries in the world are unable to digest this figure. Were made available cereal, rice, pulse from 1st April 2020, and it continues. And this doesn't end here. If we are talking of the subject at issue, social transformation brought about political transformation. Imagine the kind of inclusive growth we have had. I know, as a lawyer, I went to a bank to get a loan of rupees 6,000. Bank of Baroda. I wanted to create a library of my own. I was ever beholden to the manager who gave me 6,000 rupees loan without a security. And look at where we are. We have developed an ecosystem by affirmative governance steps that every individual is in a position to fully exploit his or her talent. And that is why the number of startups we have is unknown to the world as such. In the first half of 2022, the number of unicorns we have, and for more than 1 billion fiscal dimension, is unrivaled in the world. We are ahead of China. And therefore, Indian democracy will continue to be vibrant. But when it comes to the issues that directly concern India, we must rise to the occasion and keep only one thing in mind, interest of Bharat. The Honorable Chief Justice reflected, and it is indicated in the preamble of our Constitution, we the people. That means the power resides in the people. Their mandate, their wisdom. Imagine a situation where Indian Parliament reflected the mindset of the people. Indian Parliament in 2015-16 was dealing with the Constitutional Amendment Act, and as a matter of record, the entire Lok Sabha voted unanimously. There was no abstention in Lok Sabha. There was no dissension. And that Amendment Act was passed. In Rajya Sabha, it was unanimous. There was one abstention. No opposition. So we the people, their ordinance was converted into a constitutional provision. The power of the people came to be reflected through most sanctified mechanism on a legitimate platform through applicable mechanism. That power was undone. The world does not know of any such instance. I appeal to the people here. They constitute judicial elite class, thinking minds, intellectuals. Please find out a parallel in the world where a constitutional provision can be undone. Our Indian Constitution provides in explicit terms Article 145(3), interpretation of the Constitution when a substantive question of law is involved can be undertaken by the court. Nowhere it says a provision can be run down. Look at it from another perspective. If a constitutional provision that carries the ordainment of the people at large in such a vibrant democracy is undone, what will happen? I am appealing to everyone that these are the issues that must not be viewed on partisan lines. I expect everyone to rise to the occasion and to be part of the growth story that is India at the moment. We have a platform where all issues can be debated, traversed. But what I am startled, and senior members are present here, after this verdict, there was no whisper in the parliament. It was taken as such. This is too serious an issue. We are proud of our judiciary. It has contributed hugely to the growth of promoting the rights of the people. Innovative mechanism was taken recourse to in 80s, where a postcard could galvanize the judicial action. But I pose a question to myself. After 9/11, US had the Patriot Act. That Patriot Act was passed both by the Congress and Senate, but not with this majority. There was opposition in the Congress, there was opposition in the Senate. Senate was by and large unanimous, but there were 2 senators who opposed. And it went through. Examine the provisions of Patriot Act. And I appeal to every legal mind. And you'll find how discriminatory it is. But it emanated from a source that was taken as not beyond reach of any other authority. And that is why primacy of national interest prevails. I am not trying to say something which is not known to us. But time has come when we are talking what is the impact of political transformation on social transformation. Honorable the Chief Justice was reflecting Part 9 of the Constitution. A new part was there. We had Panchayati Raj from 1952. But to give it a constitutional status, to make it a government of a local nature, a structure was given on the level of parliament and legislature. A separate state finance commission was given that would engage into devolution of funds between state and panchayats on the same pattern as the National Finance Commission that does between the union and the states. Similar situation was created by way of Part 9, Capital A for municipalities. Imagine if these were to be undone. What will happen? Most recently, we have had this.
नमस्कार, मैं हूं मानक गुप्ता। अगर आपको हमारा ये वीडियो पसंद आया हो तो इसे लाइक और शेयर जरूर करें और हां, हमें सब्सक्राइब और फॉलो करना ना भूलें ताकि आप देश और दुनिया की कोई खबर मिस ना करें। तो जुड़े रहिए हमारे साथ और देखते रहिए न्यूज़ 24।